Alright, hello and welcome everybody to the Extreme Forces Racing League Rusty Misfits Falcon Graphics, formerly known as the Rusty Misfits Racing League. We are now the Extreme Forces Racing League. A little bit of a rebranding going on. But this is the Falcon Graphics Paved Mini Stock Series at Southern National Motorsports Park. Right now we are just in the final moments of practice before we go into what will likely be a couple of heat races here. 3.5 minutes remaining in this practice. Mr. Larson Parker, that 18 car, has been extremely fast all week long, or all season long. Once again, fastest car on track here in our practice session. Logan McNitt in that Thomas the Tank Engine car. Out on track right now, getting a couple of laps in. Second fastest, with Dean Qualley running third fastest. But ladies and gentlemen, let us start off tonight's event with our national anthems.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming,
whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight
o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming,
and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see we rise, the true North strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Alright, that will bring us to the end of our practice session. Larson Parker still the fastest. Logan McNitt. Hunter Wellman coming in the final moments to take over third place from Dean Qualley. But ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get ready here now for some fast action 8-lap heat race. 2 heats going on here tonight, splitting these cars up into 2 groups. Take a look at our starting lineup here. By luck of the draw, we got Derek Regal on pole position with that number 86 machine we are looking at the bottom of the track front row. Matt Moreau in the 38 Dodge Avenger just popping into existence right there. Will start on the outside pole position. Bringing up inside of row number 2. Larson Parker in that number 18 machine with Hunter Wellman at the quote-unquote back of this pack. But we are going to get ready to go for some heat racing action here with the Falcon Graphics paved mini stock series. And there is one thing of note that we should mention here. As of last week, ladies and gentlemen, this driver right here in that number 18 machine, well, he doesn't even need to be here tonight, nor does he need to make next week's race. He has wrapped up the championship. No way, no how can anyone behind him catch up to him and take that trophy away from him. Larson Parker is our Season 6 Falcon Graphics Mini Stock Series champion. It is now going to be a race for those behind him just to finish squabbling out those final few positions in the point standings here tonight and next week before we go into a short intermission as lights go green. We are Green Flag Racing here at Southern National Motorsports Park. Matt Moreau with a good start on that outside there. Derek Regal, ooh, just about making a little contact. I don't know if the 38 almost looked like he got a little sideways coming off turn number 2. Now he's washing up. Hunter Wellman thinks about sticking his nose into 3 wide. Gets into the back corner. They're still wrecking. Matt Moreau, Hunter Wellman, Larson Parker all involved in that one. Moreau pulling off track. Well, sorry, just blinked out of existence there for a little bit. That's going to give Derek Regal a massive gap here. 8 1/4 seconds back to second place. Hunter Wellman right now. Wellman 2.9 ahead of Matt Moreau. Matt Moreau's got company behind him though. Larson Parker is right there. Let's take a quick look back here on that replay. See if you can see exactly what happened. It is going way back here. Let's fast forward through this a little bit because we don't really need to watch the whole. By the time we find that, we will be out of time here, ladies and gentlemen. So 3 laps remaining. Derek Regal going to have pole position by virtue of winning this heat race. If he can hold it together for 2.5 more laps. Coming off turn number 4, 2 to go. Hunter Wellman holding on to second place, still handling over Larson Parker. Larson doing everything he can to try to reel that 64 car in. Running out of time to do so. 3.2 seconds separate these two drivers. So we got Regal on the final lap one more time around this short paved oval, about 3/8 of a mile long. Coming into 3 and 4 for the final time. Derek Regal will win heat race number 1. Hunter Wellman coming into turn 3 right now will hold on to second. Larson Parker bringing it home third with Matt Moreau coming off turn 4 for the last time. Might be a little bit of discussion going on here during the other heat race between our other half of the field. Let's take a look at our starting lineup for this race. On pole position, Austin Strang with the number 33 car just coming out onto the grid right there. Outside of him in that Thomas the Tank engine painted car, the 60 of Logan McNitt. Then we have the 17 car of Dean Qualley bringing up third place inside row number 2 with Mick Olofsson and that 75 machine in fourth. As we get ready to go green flag racing once again here. Remember, folks, this race will set up the outside starting lineup for the outside line. Derek Regal is on the inside pole position by virtue of winning heat race number 1. The winner of this race will start on outside pole. Dean's up there giving that 60 car a little bit of loving on that back bumper there. These guys, they've been having a little bit of a back and forth here the previous few weeks. We definitely don't want to forget, keep an eye on those two cars. But we are getting ready to go green flag. There it is. Coming off turn 4, outside, gets a good job. Thomas, the tank engine, out to an early lead going into turn 1. Can Strang move back on the inside, bump from the 75 machine into the back bumper of the 60 car. That's going to allow Mick to get down there, but he gets sideways going into turn number 3. Keeps it together, does a good job staying off that 60 car. Dean Qualley being the loser here in this group, falling back to 4th place. But he is now behind that 60 machine. We're going to have to see if he tries laying the bumper to him. Almost looks like McNitt just about caught a little bit of that outside wall as DeQually looks to the inside. Side by side down the back straightaway here for these two rivals. Keeping it clean so far off turn 4. 5 laps to go. Meanwhile, at the front, Austin Strang, after not the best start, holding on to the lead right now. Mick Olofsson trying to reel that 33 machine though. Right there at his back bumper coming off turn 4 halfway through this race. Mick Olofsson right now the fastest car on the racetrack. 15.98 to everyone else's 16.0 or 16.1s. Last time around, Austin Strang a little bit faster than Mick that time by though. Coming through turn 4, taking 2 laps to go here. Austin Strang still holding on to the lead. Dean Qualley taking over 3rd place from McNitt. McNitt right tight on that back bumper as Qualley gets a little sideways. McNitt, big dive to the inside to avoid that 17 machine. White flag in the air as we are side by side for the lead coming into turn 1. Austin Strang holding on to that lead. Mick falling back a little bit. Mick having one last chance, able to close up down the back straightaway. Was not able to get that nose down, but going to look off turn 4. It's a drag race off of the corner. Austin Strang holding on to the win over Mick Olofsson, Dean Qualley, Logan McNitt, your finishing order. As we see McNitt and Qualley having a little bit of fun with each other there. But ladies and gentlemen, now we are hopping straight into our feature racing event here. Not going to wait around. 75 laps in this feature race with 8 cars on this racetrack. Let's take a look at our starting lineup. Still waiting for our front row to grid up. Derek Regal in that 86 machine. I don't know if we've seen that 86 car out very many times this season, but he is back out here in the closing weeks of the season. Showing a lot of strength so far tonight. Starting pole position in a very strong heat race, mind. Then we have the 33 car of Austin Strang on the outside. Row number 2 sees Hunter Wellman inside with that 64 car with Mick Olofsson outside of him. Row number 3 in 5th place, Larson Parker in that 18 car, Dean Qualley in that 17, who we see coming up giving a little bit of a love tap. Maybe try to get away from that 60 car behind him. Row 4 sees Matt Moreau in that number 38 Dodge Avenger with Logan McNitt in that Thomas the Tank Engine car, bringing up the back of this pack. Getting ready to go back green flag racing here. 75 lap feature. These guys are going to have to be a little bit patient. It doesn't take much to screw up here, get that car a little bit sideways. We've already seen it happen a couple of times in the heat races. So we definitely got to be wary of that as drivers. Keep that car underneath you, keep that car pointing straight, and let's go racing, boys. Pace car about to pull off the track here, leaving the field in the hands of that 86 car, Derek Regal. Green flag in the air. Again, outside line getting a little bit of a jump coming off that turn 4. But Regal able to hold on. They are almost looking 3 wide behind him. Mick Olson and Hunter Wellman door to door coming off turn number 2. Both of them looked like they thought about looking to the little bit of a gap as we got a caution on the field already. Mick Olson almost getting sideways, slowing down there. Let's take a look. Looks like Dean Qualley may have had some level of issue. Coming off turn number 2 down the back straightaway into turn 3. Oh, looks like Matt Moreau got in a little hot. Turned that 17 car around. Dean overcorrecting just a little bit, putting him into the outside wall head first. Hopefully there isn't too much damage to that number 17 Ford Mustang, but so far it doesn't really look too bad. Caution out early. Dean Qualley looking like he is staying out. Let's see if we can get a quick nose or quick look at that 17 machine. Oh, that left front is definitely caved in a little bit. You can see that left front tire sticking out. But going to have to keep an eye to see if that 17 car can keep up with the rest of the field after catching damage early here. We're only 3 laps into tonight's race. Getting ready to go back green flag racing. Austin Strang taking over the lead from Derek Regal. Strang on the inside, Regal on the outside. We've seen that outside line get better restarts here as the pace car is pulling away. Down and off into pit road. Field in the hands of Strang as we come into the restart zone. Green flag back in the air. Regal not getting the outside that we've seen on the getting the restart on that outside as we got Mick Olson diving 3 wide there. Taking over second, looking to take over the lead. Little bit of contact going on going into turn number 1 between our 2 front row cars. Now Hunter Wellman looking to bring it 3 wide, looking to the bottom, thinks better of it. Look who's up at the top 4 right there. Larson Parker looking to roll that outside with Olofsson. That 18 car, like I said, he doesn't even need to be here, but he is still not holding back. Larson knows how to get these cars around a racetrack. Meanwhile, Austin Strang holding on to that lead. Hunter Wellman prevailing on the inside over Mick Olson, who we see get sideways off of turn number 2. That's going to give the 18 car the advantage, give 18 the 3rd place. And Matt Moreau, Logan McNitt now on the back bumper as we see Matt Moreau getting a little sideways, a little contact with that 60 machine. Larson Parker looking for 2nd place off of Hunter Wellman. And looking down below the 33 machine. The 33 tried to close the door. Manages to hold that 18 car back just a little bit, but not this time into 3 and 4. Side by side for the lead. Dead heat across the line. I don't know who led that lap. That was very close. Take Larson Parker, put him on top of the leaderboard, up to the lead, 13 laps into this race. Austin Strang holding on to 2nd over Hunter Wellman. Mick Olson managing to hold on to 4th, but Logan McNitt diving deep into turn number 3, almost makes contact with the back bumper. Manages to get that 60 machine, that tank engine, wound up just in time. Dean Qualley, luckily for him, seems to not be experiencing too many issues with that mini stock after catching that outside wall here. Battling Logan McNitt for position here, for 5th. And taking 5th place away on the outside line. Looking back at the back of our pack here, our pole sitter, Derek Regal. not having a very strong race after a good showing in the heat race. Starting on pole position, now back to dead last here in 8th. Hunter Wellman still working that back bumper. Austin Strang in second there. Wellman wants to take it away, but not quite able to find that position on the 33. Doesn't seem to know if he wants to go outside or inside of that 33 car. Olsen, meanwhile, has got a mirrorful 1760 all behind him. Dean Qualley looking to the inside. McNitt looking to try to get that car down, seeing if he can follow that 17 car through. Nothing doing that time. Mick getting a good run off of turn number 4. Keeping that 17 down below him. The outside line can work at this racetrack. There's a lot of banking here at Southern National. You can lean on that banking. Get that car to rotate through the corner. And keep that car on your inside for quite a while as we see them make a little bit of contact coming off turn 2. Matt Moreau getting up in this action there. Trying to follow Mick Olsen around there. Mick clearing the 17 car. Now Dean is in trouble. Matt Moreau on the outside looking to follow the 75 car. Logan McNitt trying to peek to the inside as we see McNitt get a little sideways. Back up here, our battle for second place. Austin Strang, Hunter Wellman. Wellman still holding steady at about that half car length behind. Larson Parker, meanwhile, took that lead away about 10 laps ago. And he has just been setting sails. We got caution back on the field. Looking like Hunter Wellman having issues here. Going through 1 and 2. Takes a peek to the inside. Ooh, looks like we got connection issues with the 64 car. That is weird. I'm not sure if that's a... Looks like Hunter having connection issues off track in the garage area right now. But that weird crash is going to put us under caution for the second time here tonight. Larson Parker, Austin Strang moving Dean Qualley, Mick Olsen, Matt Moreau, Logan McNitt, and Derek Regal all up one position. Dean Qualley now in third after a Hunter Wellman having what appeared to be connection issues, forcing him off the track. While we are under caution, let's take a very quick look at our point standings as they run right now. Larson Parker, like I said, he has wrapped up the championship. He doesn't even need to be here. Dean Qualley is in second. Matt Moreau is our third place driver, or third place in points. Mick Olsen running fourth. Austin Strang in fifth. Green flag in the air. Parker with a good start on the bottom there. Dean Qualley moving up a row there, getting inside of Austin Strang, going to take second place away from that 33 car. Mick Olsen making a power move ahead of Matt Moreau. Trying to follow Qualley around. Strang on the inside is not able to do it. Strang able to slam that door down on the 75. Been some pretty solid racing, but Larson Parker getting out to a decent start here. Ooh, and Austin Strang looking like he's having problems. No caution on the flat or on the track. See what happened to Austin here. Getting off into turn number 3. Mick Olsen looks to the inside, makes some light contact with the left rear corner of that 33 machine. Austin Strang getting going. Doesn't really get that car turned around, but unfortunate for him. No caution flag for that incident. Now Austin is on pit road by the looks of it, getting damage repaired. And actually being scored out of the race at the moment. Started with 8 cars, now we're down to 6. Our top 2 cars kind of gapped themselves out Parker ahead of Quali, about 7/10 of a second. Quali's got a 1.3 second lead over Mick Olofsson. Meanwhile, Mick has a back bumper full of Matt Moreau and Logan McNitt. These two drivers hounding that 75 machine. As we close in on the halfway point of tonight's race here. If you were watching earlier, the driver of that 75 car, he was up here in the broadcast booth. And he was broadcasting our Legend Series race earlier. Once again, Larson Parker wrapping up the championship in that series. It is a solid battle right now in points between myself and this driver right here, Dean Quali, for second and third right now in the Legend Series. Mick Olofsson being kind enough to broadcast that as he is still racing up there in third. Matt Moreau doing everything he can to try to find a right way around that race car. Logan McNitt right behind them trying to pick up the pieces of whatever's left here. Mick opening up a small gap over Matt Moreau and Logan McNitt for the moment being. I don't doubt that gap will once again close up a bit. But right now, this is the closest battle on the track at the moment. Matt Moreau once again closing the gap up to Olofsson. About a couple bumper widths between those two cars. Matt just not being able to find a way around that 75 cars. He's looking to the inside, looking to the outside, tries to dive it to the inside, gets to the back bumper of the 75 car. Makes a little bit of contact, doesn't turn the 75 luckily. But Larson Parker once again showing why he is a Season 6 mini stock champion. He is not content to just sit back and let these guys race. He is out there running every lap as hard as he can. In fact, the last few laps he has been the fastest car on the track by over 2/10 of a second. The closest competitor to him the last time across the line was 28 hundredths of a second, 0.2, almost 0.3 of a second slower, and that was Dean Quali being the second fastest car out there. Mick Olofsson able to open a little bit of gap here. Logan McNitt starting to battle with that 38 car a little bit here for fourth place. Matt still holding on to it. McNitt trying everything he can to get around that 38. These guys kind of slowing each other down at the moment, but McNitt being one of the faster cars in this little group here of three. See McNitt giving the 38 just a little bump coming off of turn number 2 there. Not enough to get the 38 upset, just enough to let him know that, hey, I am back here and I am faster. But that little bit of battling has allowed this guy here, Mick Olofsson, to drive away from them. He's now got a 7/10 of a second gap behind him over Matt Moreau, who's now having to fend off a charge from that number 60 car. Still the only battle on the track right here. 38, 60. One after the other. These two just could not get or cannot get away from each other at the moment. But right here, Larson Parker now up 4 seconds over second place Dean Quali. This is almost a repeat of our Legends race earlier tonight. Larson Parker got out to the lead and just drove away from the field. Dean Quali started up on the pole position for that race, managed to hold on to second, and kept a huge gap over me in third. Right now, Larson Parker driving away from quali. Just in that little bit, went from a 4-second gap to a 4.5-second gap over quali. Mick Olsen not quite able to breathe easy just yet. He's still got that 38 rate on his back bumper, but he is kind of closing that gap up to Dean Quali ahead of him. Down to 1.5 seconds between him and Quali. And that gap is kind of decreasing a little bit, so Dean's slowing off just a little bit. Now we know this Strange Brew Racing crew, they've made a name for themselves last season as well as this season for knowing how to save tires. But the level of competition that Larson Parker has brought to the field this season, Dean's not really been able to play that tire saving strategy as he normally likes to do, because Larson's not only quick, he is quick over the run of an entire race. And Quali can't just lay back and save his tires like he used to be able to. In fact, that gap between Quali and Olsen continuing to shrink, now down under a second. These guys are very quickly reeling in that 17 machine. We're going to have a battle for second here before too long. 20 laps left in this race. Mick has plenty of time to get there. Will he be able to get around? And the battle back here, I wouldn't say has settled down any, but they are taking a small breather, not battling each other at the moment. McNick just behind Moreau. They are just taking their time. I think they might have noticed that they were catching up to that 17 car and decided that, you know, we'll play it. You know what? That's out the window. We see a little bump there from McNick on the back bumper of that 38 car once again. But that gap, Mick Olsen was over 2 seconds at one point. Now down under 0.4 of a second. Olsen reeling that 17 car in really fast. In fact, last time across the line, 1/10 of a second faster for that 75 car over the 17. But these guys, they're running lap times 0.3 of a second slower than our leader yet. Now it is a 4-car battle for second place. Mick Olsen looking to the inside of the 17. 17 moves up a little bit here. This is not the time to play nice. Dean not getting in the way of Mick. That decision to move up and not try to keep Mick behind might prove to be costly for Dean. So we got Mick Olsen passing him now for second on the inside. Matt Moreau looking to keep that door open. Dives it into turn 3 there to try to stay on that back bumper of that 75 car. Maybe gain 1, maybe 2 positions here. As Quali fighting back on that outside line, not letting Dean. Now we are side by side, 2 rows deep here. Mick Olsen inside of Dean Quali. Matt Moreau inside of Logan McNitt right now. Still side by side for second and fourth here. And Quali still managing to keep Mick just a bit behind him, but not enough to clear him and get down in front of that 75 machine. As we see McNick catching that outside wall ever so lightly there. That's going to allow Matt Moreau to clear him for fourth. But these two cars battling side by side, that is going to slow everyone down here. As we got McNick getting into the corner of Moreau and getting him sideways. Does not turn that car all the way around, but it's going to cost him a lap to our leader, Larson Parker here. Parker up, passing around Logan McNitt, putting him a lap down. Give second place to Olsen, who has now successfully gone around that 17 car. Matt Moreau not able to follow that 75 on the inside. But ladies and gentlemen, this battling, Larson Parker now has an 11.3 second lead over Olsen. Matt Moreau, who's working his way around Dean Qualley now. Qualley still trying to fight hard on that outside line. 7 laps remaining in this race. Ooh, big bump from the 38 car. They keep those cars pointed in this right direction. Keep on going there. That's going to open the gap up a little bit between them. But that is also allowing Olofsson to drive away here in second place. Down to 5 laps to go here. Larson Parker out for a Sunday cruise. 12 seconds ahead. He is in danger of lapping the whole field here if these guys keep fighting like this. Only a few seconds behind these 3 cars right now. With 4 laps remaining, Qualley and Olofsson are still battling it out for the final podium position here. Olofsson not able to capitalize on that battle going on behind him here. Matt Moreau now looking to the outside. Olofsson defending to the inside. 3 laps remaining in this race. You see Parker coming around 3 and 4 right now, taking 2 to go. These guys are just in 1 and 2 at the moment. They're that far behind our leader. Coming around 3 and 4, just about to take. These guys are just getting 2 to go, but right now, our race leader, white flag in the air. Larson Parker he could shut that engine off, ladies and gentlemen, coast to the finish from here. He is in no danger, but Matt Moreau getting around Mick Olofsson for that final podium position. One flag in the air for them as Larson Parker wins at Southern National Motorsports Park. Ladies and gentlemen, that is win number 6 on the season for that 18 machine. Dominant race for them. Matt Moreau holding on to second over Mick Olofsson. Dean Qualley falling back in the final laps to 4th. Logan McNitt holding on to 5th. Derek Regal bringing that 86 machine home 6th. Austin Strang, Hunter Wellman, unfortunately out of the race. I am not quite sure what issues they faced. I do believe Hunter seemed to have some level of connection issue. I believe it was a similar thing with Austin Strang. I do not know for sure, but not able, going to have to take DNFs on the night. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Larson Parker. Larson Parker with a dominating win. Once again here in the Falcon Graphics Paved Mini Stock Series. Mick Olofsson, Matt Moreau. We've seen Matt a few times up in the top 3, but it's been a while since we've seen that 75 car. But I see we got a Mr. Dean Qualley in the waiting room here. Why don't we pull the driver of that 17 car up into the broadcast booth, wait for a quick interview while we wait for our top 3 to get up here. Mr. Qualley, how are you? That race didn't quite go the way you were hoping by the looks of it, but you got caught in a hurry at the end. What was going on?
I think from that damage I sustained earlier in the race, it affected the car quite a bit, the whole race.
Well, it definitely didn't look like it affected the car too much at the beginning. You were able to drive back up through the field. Got up to second, but that Larson Parker machine, I think we're going to have to take that car into tech lane and completely tear it apart after this race.
Yeah, he's just fast.
He was very close. I think another 10 laps, he would have had the entire field lapped at the rate he was going.
Yep, no, he figured it out, that's for sure.
Well, Dean, you know, you're one of the admins here at Extreme Forces Racing League. We got one more race to go in our Legends and Mini Stock Series on Tuesday nights here. We know Larson's wrapped up the championship in both series. What do you expect to see coming up next week?
Probably the same outcome, I'm sure. Well, that's if Larson's going to race because he's going for surgery on the Monday. So hopefully everything goes good in his surgery, and hopefully we can do something with him next race day. But if not, he earned that championship, and I'm just happy to be racing up with him or with him.
Absolutely, he's one heck of a driver. He knows how to move these cars around a racetrack, and maybe we all can learn a thing or two from him.
Yep, that's for sure.
And you know what? Maybe it's about how much dope you put on those tires to get the maximum amount of grip in them.
Exactly. Yep, that's it.
All right, Dean. Well, thanks for joining me up in the broadcast booth. I got to get our top 3 up here.
Sounds good. Thanks again, Tom, for broadcasting.
All right, well, we got the 3rd place finisher in that number 75, that very colorful car there that I do believe he painted himself there, Mr. Mick Olsen. Bringing that car home 3rd, Mick. That was a bit of a battle at the end.
Oof, I wish I would have been able to hold off Matt, but I think I drove way too aggressively early on, and I burned up them tires.
Well, you didn't burn them off enough that you were able to just absolutely reel in that 17 car. He had a couple of second lead over you guys, and then all of a sudden the switch just flipped, and you just all of a sudden started to freight train him down.
Yeah, the car felt really good early on, though. I almost drove it like it was a dirt track. That thing was more sideways than it was straight in some of them corners.
We definitely noticed that a couple of times with not only yourself, but a couple of the cars. And yeah, like Hunter Wellman, I don't know exactly if it was a connection issue, just all of a sudden he blinked out and then he was crashing and we were under caution and saw you get sideways a few times. I believe Matt got sideways a few times. It was a bit of a slippery track looking out there.
It was, and especially for the way some of us were driving. We were driving pretty aggressive, but we had a good time. Austin and I put on a good show in the heat race. I do feel bad for getting into him there in the feature when I was trying to get under him, but he was running really good too, and it should have been a good finish for him.
Well, it's the tight racing track that this puts on here. Is you get tight, close to each other, and sometimes it's hard to stay off of each other.
Yeah, as me and the 17 found out.
Well, the 17, the 38, and 60 a few times there. At least most of the time, there's a lot of friendly bumping going on, but nothing too aggressive, and no one going around because of it. So.
No, we definitely had a fun time tonight. Nobody had anything for Larson Parker. That 18 car is quick. He's definitely earned that title he's getting this season, and hopefully he comes out good from his surgery next week, and he'll be back at it good as new.
With any luck, he did say it's an arm surgery that he's undergoing, so he might be handicapped if he does join us next week. Which at this point, I think we need every handicap we can get on that 18 car, because holy crap, does he know how to get around.
Yeah, he is quick, that's for sure.
Like he drove away, he had a 14-second lead at the line on that final lap. The Legends race earlier that you were broadcasting, well, I don't know how you kept awake during that, because we were so spread out that entire race, there's nothing much to really talk about, I'm pretty sure.
Not a whole lot. The 60 and, who was he battling with there for a little bit? Oh, Austin Strang. Yeah, they had a little decent battle going on for a little bit.
That was about the only action on the track was the last 2 cars in the field.
Yep. Well, we definitely put on a show here tonight. We had some sideways racing and some door banging, and we had a good time.
Oh, for sure. I had a few places to look on the track, so I definitely had a little bit of a funner broadcast than we did for you on the Legend side. But you know what? It's good racing all around, even though sometimes you got a car that just drives away from the field like that 18 knows how to do.
Yeah, he does, and he's tough no matter what kind of car you put him in.
It seems like that. I can't wait to see what happens, next season when he's back fresh and see if he can come back and defend his championships.
Oh, for sure. He'll be up there battling it out every week, that's for sure.
Well, Mick, I'm sure you got a few names on that car, though, that we gotta give their honest props there for supporting that 75 machine and getting you up on the podium here tonight.
Oh, for sure. We got to thank All the Dirt. We got to thank Extreme Forces Racing League, Strange Brew Racing, Falcon Graphics, Zuli Race Engines, Rygar Logging, Poor Willie's Bar in 10 Strike, Minnesota, and my home track, Bemidji Speedway, home of the Chicken Shack Nationals.
Well, that sounds fun.
Heck yeah, buddy. World famous Chicken Shack. Come check us out.
If I could cross the border, I would.
Well, maybe soon there won't be one.
Well, I'll keep that one in mind. All right, Mick, thanks for joining us in the broadcast booth here tonight. Congratulations on third place. We haven't talked enough this season, but you definitely put on a heck of a show out there tonight.
Thank you. It was fun. I gave it everything I had. I wanted to get a podium this night.
Well, you got there.
Thank you very much, buddy. You have a good night.
You too. Alrighty. Well, that brings us on to this guy. We've talked to him a couple of seasons, but
iRacing to reinstall it.
But after a hard-fought battle, brings that 38 car home second. Matt Moreau, how are you feeling after that battle?
Hey, I'm doing good. I didn't realize I got pulled in the broadcast booth. I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm doing good. There was a lot of fighting. I realized there at the end, you know, maybe I can make the high side work, and it did. But I know I had a lot of blinking going on, so I do apologize for that. And Logan wasn't quite too happy with it because I think he slammed on the brakes and spun himself there because of the blinking. But
Well, and that is a very difficult thing to race around when a car is on the track and blinking and you don't know exactly where he is, because even though you don't see him, the game still thinks he's there. So that it can become a problem. But you guys kept it together and you put on some good racing regardless.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. Especially racing with Dean, Mick, and Logan. The four of us there, we were in a pack most of the race. It was a lot of fun.
Well, we were definitely keeping an eye on that pack there, because there was a little bit there, you know, Mick was running third. He had a couple of second gap ahead of him to Dean Qualley. You, McNitt, and Mick were all in one little blanket. And, you know, you were pressuring that 75 car pretty hard for a while. McNitt was pressuring you pretty hard from behind. And you just kind of never really got the opportunity to pass each other. Explain what was going on during that battle between the three of you.
So I think a lot of it came to, if you're trying to get a run, you would go to the inside of it. And on the outside, I was able to defend pretty well. So that's why I hopped there on the outside in the closing laps. Because, like, Logan would try to hop on my inside, and I was able to defend. I would try hopping on Mick's inside, and we were kind of stacked up there. And I think a lot of that was because worn tires, you're not able to get a run off and fully utilize that outside lane.
Well, and we saw that a little bit too. There were, you know, we saw the 60 car starting to pressure you a little bit, so you had to drive more defensively. We saw Mick starting to get ahead a little bit. But there's one point where I think you and McNitt both saw that you were starting to reel in that 17 car and kind of settled that battle out a little bit. Is that what was going on there, or did I see wrong?
I mean, I did see Dean coming closer and closer. I wasn't expecting that, because he's usually up there battling with Logan or Larson. But I was focused on Mick, and then I did see Dean come in a little closer, so I was hoping those two would kind of fight it out and able to take advantage of it.
Well, you definitely became the victor in that battle. You know, Dean not able to hold on, and you've just found the right place to be at the right time to get around both Dean and get around Mick Olofsson, taking second place away and getting a good finish for that 38 machine of yours.
Yeah, they left the outside lane open, and I liked it. So, but yeah, all in all, a lot of fun racing with those guys.
Well, I'm sure you got a few names on that race car of yours that you want to give thanks to for helping you out.
Yeah, we'll start up with the real life sponsors: Flower City Collision, Hazelton Auto Mall, L&M Auto Glass, Wilbur's U Pullet, TZ Graphics, my YouTube channel SRTV, and gotta thank Stranger Racing and Mick for designing the car.
Well, great race out there for you tonight there, Matt. Congratulations on second place, and we got one more for Season 6.
Yep, I like these cars. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Alrighty, talk to you later.
Yep. Thank you.
Alright, well, it is time to bring in the number one driver on the field, not only tonight, but this season, Larson Parker in that 18 car, wrapping up that championship last week. He didn't even have to show up tonight or next week to take that championship home. But Larson, you were content with that, were you? You went out there and put on a statement once again.
Yeah, I was that was a pretty good win. I was pretty content with that one. I came into tonight I'm not usually too good at Southern National at saving tires. It's just a lot of banking and a lot of speed going into the corners, but I changed my line about like right when I got the lead. I knew I had to change something or else I was going to go backwards quick with the way I was driving, so
Well, you most definitely didn't go backwards. In fact, you almost lapped the entire field. I figure if you had another 5 to 6 laps, you would have been right there on their back bumper. A couple more, you'd probably been right around them.
yeah, I was going to see how close I could get just to see if I could get back up to the pack, but 75 laps. Maybe if I took tires like I was thinking about during that second caution, I might have had them, but that would have been a risky move.
Oh, definitely would have been risky. You'd have lost a lot of track position doing so, but pulling in from the lead, you might have pulled a few cars behind you.
Yeah, I mean, fresh tires, especially on the mini stocks, are always huge, but I was thinking long run. I know it's a small track and short track race, and there's always a few cautions, so I was thinking maybe there was going to be a late race caution, but there wasn't, so.
No, everyone kept it fairly clean. There's a little bit of contact, a little bit of beating and banging, but a couple of times the car went around a little bit, but not enough to cause a caution after that final second caution, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not complaining either way. I got a pretty good margin of victory on that one, so there's not a whole lot to complain about, caution or not.
No, I do believe this may be your biggest margin of victory in the mini stock series this season. About 14 seconds from you to second place. And like I said, another couple of laps, you would have had the top three, or well, had the entire field lapped. You'd have been the only car on the lead lap if you only had about 5 to 10 more laps.
Yeah, no, that would have been something, but I mean, maybe a few more laps, but who knows? It's hard to tell, and these tires go quick, and lap times change almost every lap, it feels like, so there's no really way to say.
Well, and you went out there this season, like I said, this is your 6th win on the season, I believe, a dominating win tonight, and you just put a pretty little bow tie on that championship, because we were talking a little bit with Mick there that you might not be able to make next Tuesday due to a surgery on your arm Monday afternoon, so we're hoping that you find yourself in a good enough position to come back out and join and at least run some laps, but...
Yeah, I mean, either way, I might, even if I can't get out there or if I don't feel comfortable turning all those laps one-handed next week, I might ask you guys or something if I can hop up in the booth at least so I can still be a part of the championship night even if it's not on the track.
Well, we would very much like that. You are definitely going to have to be out there for an interview for the very least because, yeah, you not only wrapped up the championship here at the in the mini stock series, you wrapped up the Legend Series championship as well. Both Tuesday night series, that 18 car, don't seem to matter what we throw you in, Larson, and it's gone.
Yeah, I try my best. It definitely takes a lot of practice and seat time, but I always try to be fairly competitive, if not the most competitive in each car I drive. But sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So.
No, and we definitely have a pretty solid crew in both series here, the Legends and the Mini Stocks, to go up against. You know, Dean usually is right up there with you, trying to keep you honest, but tonight a little bit of damage kind of hurt his odds. Matt Moreau, Mick Olsen, they were coming in a hurry at the end, but not quite quick enough to put a dent in your pace.
Yeah, that's always the goal when I go out here. I just try to be competitive, and I don't let whatever's going on behind me really affect me. I just try to stay in my own groove, and usually works out for the better every time. So.
Yeah, race yourself, not the other racers, right?
Yep, and then if you're lucky enough, you'll win it. So. I got pretty lucky this season with avoiding stuff and trying not to wreck as much.
Well, Larson, I'm sure you got a few names on that car. You know, racing's not a one-man deal. I'm sure there's a few names that helped get you to these championships here this season.
Yeah, I'd like to thank RKM Setup Shop for working with me week in and week out to stay competitive, not only in here, but also in all the iRacing and the money races that go on. And then 918 Design sponsors my design on the mini stock for me, so he's painting my mini stocks for the next seasons, and just you guys for putting on the show every week.
Well, you are very welcome, Larson. It's a pleasure having you out here in these series. You know, I think I learned a couple things about racing a little bit quicker following you. I know Dean has. We talked a little bit about that earlier. And yeah, I can't wait to see what Season 7 brings.
Oh, yeah, hopefully it'll bring something good. I'm not sure about the dirt series, but hopefully I can stay consistent and stay fast in the Legend Car series for next season.
Well, there's got to be something here you're not good at, Larson. So far, everything I've seen you in, you are the cream of the field, so...
Yeah, we got some pretty good dirt guys in the league that I know about, so we'll just see. Maybe if I can get some top 5 finishes or top 5 in points, maybe I'll be happy, but I don't feel anywhere near as confident as I do on asphalt short tracks.
All right, well, congratulations on the championships here, Larson. Like I said, I can't wait to see what Season 7 brings for you.
Thank you, Tom.
All right, you just heard from the champion himself. Two championships, sorry, here in the Tuesday night events Legend Series, brought to you by Strange Brew Racing, Falcon Graphics Paved Mini Stock Series. Champion in both, and by more than a small margin. Like I said, that guy's got... He wrapped those championships up 3 nights with 3 nights left to go. So he is definitely one to watch next season. I hope you all join us then. But don't forget, we got one more racing weekend here on our Tuesday night event. We are going to be ending the Falcon Graphics mini stocks at South Boston Speedway next Tuesday, June 24th. Before that, we'll be taking the Legend Series to... let's see here. The Legends will be racing 5 flags immediately before the mini stocks. I hope everyone would come and join us then. It's been a pleasure broadcasting this series so far this season. I can't wait to see what happens in our finale night. I hope everyone joins. I'm Tom Quiring. Thanks for joining tonight, and we will see you next week.